welcome to Aaron and Zach's semi-lame Whitewater show. We're happy to be here again. Good to see you, Aaron. Oh, geez. See, this is why we're not good yet.
Good to see you too, Zach.
We're at the show drinking water. What?
I gotta stay hydrated. We're role models.
It's better than a sandwich, but come on, man. We're trying to get away from being semi-lame, but I'm fine being semi-lame. So this is our show we do every Friday at 2 p.m. where we just talk about boating stuff. This is kind of like Aaron and I chatting like we normally would about stuff. And we can do it live on YouTube with those of you watching. And if you want to comment and be involved in the conversation and talk to us, please do. It makes it more fun for us. If I just sit here and talk to Aaron, it's going to get boring pretty quick. And the comments are what really make this interesting. And as always, like, subscribe, do all the stuff. And looking forward to the show. Aaron, do you have anything you want to bring up before we kind of go into some stuff?
Not today. I can't think of anything. Summer's here. It's great. Boating season. June. Well, actually, I guess not. When does this summer start? It doesn't start yet, has it?
June 21st.
June 21st. Yeah, we got
10 days.
Okay, spring boating is almost done. So.
It feels like summer season because it's been sunny and nice, and like regular summer trips are happening. You know, all the spring stuff's kind of behind us. All the Illinois and Oahu's and like, you know, the Kuya, all that stuff's behind us. So it's definitely summer season.
Definitely.
Well, for today's show, we got a couple things. One, I want to talk about throw bags with you a little bit. I'm about to do a Gear Garage episode, and I have some ideas. And I've been boating a lot, and just seeing people with throw bags where I'm like, that bag you have makes zero sense. You know, just watching people. And I think people don't know what bag to buy or why they're buying a particular bag. They're just going to NRS, clicking throw bag, and they get something. Or they see what their friend has, and the bags they have are not appropriate. And when I teach a class with somebody in the throw bag, almost everybody's like, whoa, I wish I had known this stuff so I had some education before buying my first bag. So I'm getting ready to do a Gear Garage about it. I want to get your thoughts before I do. Then we're going to go from there and talk about, that rap video somebody sent us. So I'm excited about that. It sounds like there's a lot of carnage and things happen. So we'll watch that video and review that. I haven't watched it yet, so I'm pretty excited to watch it like blind. And then finally, we have, I was on the Rogue last week, and I have some just footage from the Rogue, some GoPro footage we can just talk about. I know a lot of people are always wondering, how do you run Rainy? How do you do Mule Creek Canyon? How do you Blossom Bar? So we can talk about some rowing. So first, Aaron, I want to talk about throw bags. First of all, do you have a favorite throw bag?
Yep. My favorite throw bag.
The artist standard.
The NRS one, the old school one that had the big loop on the bottom that you could hold on to. That bag with the loop on the bottom. I liked it with the loop that you could hold on to on the bottom.
Yeah, this is that bag. I just took the loop out.
Does it have the two holes in the bottom still for the loop?
Oh, this one has one, but they still put a hole in it.
The one with the two holes in the bottom and it had the little loop. That was my favorite bag ever.
Yeah, but you like the 3/8 inch rope, 75 feet, just the whole thing. You like the flappy bag.
I like the Spectra cord, the one you can use as a, it's not going to break on you. Yeah, that's my favorite throw bag right there.
Okay.
And I'll say this, like, is it the best for throwing? No. Is it the best for pulling on? No. Is it the best for anything? No. But it kind of does everything. It does it all. And I think that's like, I feel like, I say NRS products in general. They kind of do everything okay. They're not great at anything, but usually, like, overall, it works well. It's like
everybody makes this bag. There's a lot of companies that make the 3/8 inch rope.
Who else makes one like that?
Not with the same rope. This is the one with the Spectra.
Yeah, exactly, with the Spectra line.
You like the Spectra?
The Spectra is why I like that bag so much. Yeah, the bag itself was like whatever. Because I feel like so many times when people throw a throw bag, they start wanting to do mechanical advantages and they do dumb stuff with it. And it's just like, you got a bag there. You can do mechanical
How many times have you seen mechanical advantage on a throw bag?
Well, I never see it because I never use mechanical advantage, but I've seen other people doing stuff. So,
that's what I want to get at here for a second. I mean, so why you wouldn't use mechanical advantage for a throw bag? So you don't need a strong rope. So why do you have one?
Well, the other thing too is if I need to set up an anchor on my boat, like a bigger anchor, it works for an anchor. It just does.
How ropes work for an anchor?
If I'm going to carry one rope, I want to carry a rope that can take force. If I'm carrying one, on my boat, and that's the only one I'm carrying.
Okay, this is where we're getting at. I think that just carrying one rope is a problem. I think people buy this throw bag. They're like, oh, I need a safety rope with me. And it's such a mediocre solution to every use of a rope that it's not really good at any of them. And that we should a lot of times be carrying 2 ropes because you're not going to, this is 75 feet, right? You're not going to be able to do any kind of 3-to-1 with 75 feet unless the boat's 10 feet away. Right? Like 75 feet is just not enough rope to realistically do anything.
If you have 2 of them, you're set.
There you go. If you have 2 of them. Sure.
And so if you have one on each raft, great, you're fine. And you're
not set. You have the not moving through thing, so it's not ideal, right? But yeah, I mean, it's a solution.
There's ways around that, but yeah, I agree. No, I mean, Zach, you're right. It's like our show. That throw bag is like our show. It's mediocre. It's not outstanding, but
semi-lame. It's semi-lame.
It's semi-lame, but it provides some value. And I think it's you know what it's like. If someone says, "Hey, I need a throw bag," whatever you're going to use that throw bag for, it'll work for that.
That's not true. Because if you need to throw a throw bag at somebody 60 feet away, not many people can throw this throw bag at a person 60 feet away. It's not going to accurately get to a swimmer.
Well, let's be honest. Most people can't throw a throw bag 60 feet anyways, no matter what throw bag is with accuracy.
This one.
You can.
No, most people can. This throw bag is awesome. But like that's the thing is like you can throw this throw bag way farther accurately than you can throw this bag. And so if you want to use a throw bag to help people in the water, maybe get a throw bag you're more accurate with.
But usually I'm not. I mean, that's the other thing is like I don't use a throw bag to throw to someone who's swimming in the water. I usually use a throw bag to throw to somebody that's stuck on a rock or a raft that's stuck on a rock.
I get that, but again, like if you but when you
then I want a thicker diameter rope is way nicer because they have something to hold on to when you pendulum them in. It just works. It's a nice usable. Like when you talk about pulling on it, those little itty bitty ones. If you tie it to and you're just pulling on a few of you can't pull on it well. You want a nicer diameter. And it doesn't stretch the same amount as the regular throw bag ropes do. It's just a better rope. It's better for pulling on.
The rope is superior. The rope itself is superior. The quality of the bag. Well, let's go through my list. Let's talk about my list because then we're gonna get. I think I want to get to this.
Okay, yeah. Let's get
the point is there are some times where the NRS bag. No, the NRS bag is never appropriate. There's always this bag.
It's always appropriate.
This bag is better. This one from Gaspar from WWTC, and I think it's in Hungary. This bag is better. That's a fact. It's just about as strong. I have to look at the math. It's about as strong. The throw is better. It's just superior. But we'll get to that in a second. So first of all, I have some things I want to go down for boaters. And I think there's different categories, right? There's like, are you a private boater or commercial?
I might make yourself bigger because I can't see that.
All right. Are you private boater or oops, what did I do? Are you a private or commercial? Are you cat boating versus rafting? Are you a kayaker? There's different needs for different applications. I think that's an important detail, right? Like as a commercial boater, I have a 200-foot static line. So do I really need this too? Right? Wouldn't I rather have something like this that's more throwable? Because I don't.
You're not gonna like my question here.
Whatever. Give it to me.
How many long throw bags do you bring on your trips? I mean, long lines. How many long lines do you bring on your trip?
One.
What happens if that's a boat that wraps?
You untie it and get to it.
Well, a lot of times on a boat wraps, you can't untie stuff because it's buried. Would you rig it? You rig it in a special spot?
I know. I'm just putting this off. So if I know where you're going. If your static line is on the boat that wraps and you can't get to it, then yes, you have to either use throw bags or some other person on the river who was like, hey, can I use your static line? We're stuck.
And I would say I think we both agree that we want to be self-reliant, that we don't want to have to depend on another group coming down to help us. That's not a good position to be on.
Yeah, no, we do. I agree. So like, I think let's get to this because I have ideas. I have thoughts that are complex. First of all, what's the length of a throw bag you want to have? What for you, Aaron Cavignola, what's the ideal length?
75 feet.
Cool. I think that's long. I think it's hard to throw 75 feet, but that's a good length.
But No, it is long, but I can take a few. I like
Yeah.
to take a couple of, a couple of whatever loops out before I throw it, a couple of coils out. So
Yep.
I have some extra in my hand. And then the difference between 60 and 75 feet, I feel like that extra, you talk about like doing a Z drag or anything like that, 75 feet,
Yeah. It makes a
if you
difference.
make it, you can make that work usually. So,
Yeah. So I'm going to say 65 feet plus. Like 65 to me, kind of a minimum, unless you're like a kayaker doing creeks and they're like 20 feet wide, right? Like,
yeah.
then you get away with the 50. But most of us that are rafting, at least, probably need at least 65 feet. And I like what Mark taught us. It's the longest you can accurately throw. Like if you can't throw 75 feet, you may not need 75 feet. But I know you're headed because there's other applications for it.
And I would say, I like that mentality is get the longest throw back you can throw, but you should have a little extra. Longer you
Yeah,
throw,
no,
and then
yep,
have a couple coils
yep,
extra. So you
yep,
pull out a couple coils and then you throw it. Yeah.
yep. The diameters, I think the main diameters are a 1/4 inch, which is like pretty thin. Like it's going to be light and easy to throw. Somebody can grab it, but they're not going to enjoy holding onto it because it's pretty thin. But it makes for a nice, small, compact rope. You're not going to do any mechanical advantage with it. This is purely for like hanging a clothesline in camp, for getting a bag getting a throw bag to a boat, and then hauling over the static line. This is for day-to-day stuff.
What about the little Spectra? The Spectra, isn't there a Spectra 1/4 inch line? Isn't that the Spectra ones? Yeah, like isn't that Spectra?
Yes.
But that one you can mechanical advantage that.
Yeah, but you can't. Even if it's Spectre, I mean, you can't. It'll still stretch. It'll still stretch. I've watched people try to Spectre with. Have you ever seen anybody with a 1/4 inch Spectra do mechanical advantage? It just pulls the rope. It just it stretches the rope. It doesn't move the boat. There's too much stretch.
Really? I haven't used. I just look at the force it can take. So I have not tried it.
I don't look at force. I look at elongation. To me, like I don't see throwbacks breaking very often. It's just not. I've never seen it. You sound like you have, but
yeah,
I don't think throwbacks break really. What happens is they put them in a system and pull, and it's just pulling the stretch out of the rope, and the bag doesn't move. So ropes that stretch, to me, I'm looking for low elongation over strength personally. So like whether it's Spectre or Poly, I'm looking at elongation personally. But I wouldn't use this for. I wouldn't even at Spectre. I wouldn't use this for a 3-to-1. And the 3-to-1 I ran into a group that wrapped, and they were doing that. They were pulling the rope out, just stretching it. And I was like, hey guys, do you want help? And they're like, yeah, we don't know what we're doing. I'm like, just take that all undone. I'm gonna grab somebody. We're gonna go throw a rope over here and pull it a different angle, and we came right off. So I think this is useful for pulling on a little bit, but I mean, really, you can't do much with this with the 1/4 inch. That's my point, at least. I think 5/16 inch is like an in-betweener, right? It's still light. It's still throwable. Maybe put mechanical advantage on it and pinch. And then 3/8 inch is more like the big dog, right? Like this is 3/8 inch right here, about 9mm rope. This is that really good Sterling line, the Ultra line, I believe. They're within the NRS bag. You could do a mechanical advantage with this. It's low elongation. It's super strong. It's great rope inside there. So this is if you're going to be doing rescue type stuff, right? With it, you're not going to throw this very far or accurately. You're just not. Nobody can really throw this 75-foot rope 60 feet to somewhere they want it to go. It's pretty rare. It's going to take you a lot of throws.
It's challenging. I'd say it's challenging to do long throws with that bag. Hey, are the comments off? What's going on? Or is no one tuning anymore? Have we just like?
No, comments are on. Nobody cares. It's fine. I'm used to
it. Yeah.
I just made sure
I'm not used to this.
I just made sure we were live. No, Aaron, we're semi-lame. So like, why would anybody comment on this stuff? Okay. So I think that the rope diameter, I think again, the 1/4 inch is like, hey, it's just an accessory rope. It's super light and accurate for throwing. You can get to somebody. You're not going to pull on it very hard. You don't really want to pull on it because it'll rip your fingers out, right? 5/16 is a nice in between, maybe some mechanical advantage, and 3/8 is like, hey, this thing if you have the right 3/8 inch rope, like Spectra, you can do mechanical advantage, but you're going to have a hard time throwing that rope. But it's also a good diameter to actually grip with your hands and pull on. And you can't, dude, trust me, whatever. I
use those all the time.
You're a superstar then, Aaron. After watching IRF throwback tests, people trying to pass it with this and just flailing over and over and over. And then you give them something like this and they're starting to crush.
You know, the reason is because that one's shorter. It's probably a 60-foot line versus 75 feet. And that extra 50, that extra 50, which is 70 feet.
This one.
That's 70?
Amazing.
Oh, that long? Yeah, that is amazing.
That's the difference. I mean, that's like if you grab this in your hand, this 1/4-inch rope is really sweet for throwing. It's small, compact. You can just whip it somewhere, right? This I think this is 60 feet or 62 feet.
Yeah.
So this isn't even the full, and that's how much bigger it is when it's just a little like.
The Kokatat one, I look at that like looks way more attractive to me than that. I don't think that other one's that easy to throw either, honestly.
This one?
I don't think that one's that much. I don't find that one that much easier to throw than the NRS bag.
Oh, for sure. I mean, in my experience, it is.
Yeah.
Part of it too. I mean, let's get to this because we're going down. So anyway, there's rope diameters, then just things that I think are givens. You want a rope that's colorful so people can see it. Ideally, it floats. I mean, it should float, but as soon as it gets in whitewater, it's not going to float anymore, right? If you throw a throw bag across the channel, as soon as it gets caught up in the water, it's going to start sinking. And then the decision we talked about poly versus Spectra.
Okay. We can't see anything below there because your microphone's in the way.
I'll move it. Anyway, so what is there any advantage to poly other than it's cheaper?
I don't know, Vinny. I think it's just cheaper.
Yeah. So I think
that's the Spectra. I feel it's lighter.
It's not.
It's softer. It's not lighter than Spectra. It's totally lighter than Spectra.
It's a little heavier. I just looked at some.
Really, it's heavier.
I think it's like an ounce heavier. I looked it up before the
show. Per foot?
No, for a whole throw bag. It was like 2 pounds for poly and 2 pounds 1 ounce for Spectra. Oh. I might have gotten these things backwards, but
they're close.
I don't think it's easier to work with either. Spectra seems stiff to me.
The Spectra is stiff, yeah. That's what I mean. The poly is a little softer. It's for holding, like not for like pulling on ropes, but like for actually throw bagging with. The poly's got a little bit more give in it, I feel like, which is nice when you're pulling some in, so that and it's softer on your hands. It's just it's nicer. It's nicer for throw bagging.
Yep.
Spectra is better for everything. If I'm going to carry a throw bag, I mean, I would just say this: I only own Spectra throw bags.
I'm starting to think that. I'm starting to.
I don't buy. Now, if I were an outfitter and I had to have one on every raft, I might just get the cheap ones, and just be like, so there's one on every raft. Whatever, you guys are gonna do dumb stuff with them, and we'll replace them, and I'm not gonna worry about it. And then make sure to have a couple of Spectras thrown in there, and you have a long line and like a 75-foot Spectra. So the long line's on one boat, 75-foot Spectra's on another line, just another boat, just in case.
Okay, let's get to the bag. What do you look for in a bag? The first thing is, does it follow the clean land principle? This bag violates it 3 times out of the box.
Where?
There's a hand loop down here. This was a loop that I cut off. This makes a hand loop, and then this thing is another loop. So this bag violates the clean land principle 3 ways. I fixed it because I've cut it all up. Whereas this bag is like there's no loops at all.
Okay, great. So clean line principle, great. That's the one. We go next.
Colorful. You want to have it be colorful so you can see it. Easy to stuffability. People like they're more likely to use a bag if it's easy to stuff. You want to pack tight. It zings out faster if it's packed tight. So like again, this is a floppy bag. It doesn't. Zing out.
But Zach, I think that's if it packs tight, it's harder to pack. So that's I feel
there's there's a perfect balance though. It's like it packs tight, but it's not annoying to pack. Like there is a balance there, right? They have to hit that balance. It hides the loop in the beaner is just a nice thing. So like this loop is just hanging off, right? Whereas this one, the loop in the beaner, there's a carabiner in here.
Well, I have my whole other feeling. I don't think you need a carabiner on your throw bag. I think that's a bad idea to be on. You don't need a carabiner on your throw bag. No, not necessary.
It's not necessary. It's a nice to have.
No, it's extra weight.
Aaron, it is extra weight.
It makes it harder to throw. It makes it heavier, so it's not as easy to throw it, Zach.
I hear you. Think of all the times you've thrown a throw bag to somebody stuck on a raft and they grab it and then they're just like, uh-oh, what do I do now? It's happened to me a lot. They're like, oh man, where's the carabiner? Like, it's nice to have. And if you are concerned for throwing swimmers, just take it off really quick if you're like in a high stress situation. But I feel like most throw bags, my experience, are to a stuck raft, and they almost always don't have a carabiner on them, and then you have to figure out to get them a carabiner.
Most of the throw bags I've used are to people stuck on rocks.
To a person, not a boat.
Yeah, a person.
For me, it's more boat stuck on. I've done more boat stuck on rocks, and so it's nice to have.
I mean, it's a good point. I will say having the little pouch that you could put a carabiner in there and throw it out with. I think it's great. But I'm going to say this: I don't think I would have the carabiner in there I don't know if I'd have the carabiner in all the time. I have to go back and forth on that. Because if the boat's stuck on a rock, you have time to put a little. Do you have do you have a carabiner? Nope. Okay, I'll put one in there and then I'll throw it to you with the carabiner.
Yeah, that works. Yeah, it works.
But what I prefer, Zach, is I prefer if the rope gets thrown from the boat to shore. I think that's better because then the bag is on shore.
100%.
And then the person on the boat can tie a knot. You can tie like a bowline, our favorite knots, onto something.
I'm totally with you. If the person on the boat the person on the boat doesn't always have a throw bag, and the person on the boat isn't always competent to throw a throw bag, and they still have to have a carabiner, or you're saying tie a bowline, but they also have to be able to tie a bowline. And you'd be surprised how many people cannot tie a bowline. I'm even blown away by it. Like, I thought more people could. So it's not a given.
I was saying this. I was just dreaming about this the other day. Is I would take my throw bag. I'm stuck on the boat. I throw it to you on shore, Zach, and then I take the end of the bag, the end of the rope, and put it around the tube through the holes, and then tie a bowline, and then you can pull away.
If you can tie a bowline, but yeah,
isn't that beautiful? Yeah,
it's beautiful. I'm with you. But like, next time you get stuck on a rock and I'm on shore, I can't wait to see it happen. But if you have Johnny Hotshot stuck, Mikey Bigwater, who knows? Like, they're gonna make up a knot, and they'll be looking for their carabiners. Like, throw me a carabiner. Throw me a carabiner. They drop it. You're like,
but then this brings me to my second thing. You talked about the guy not having one. I'm a big fan of the hip throwback for that reason, because then they do have one.
Yeah, and I mean, but I think that's changing the culture of the U.S. I think I'm there too. I'm moving. I'm wearing a hip throwback myself after years of not. But it's a massive cultural shift to get people to do it. That's coming up after pack tight. It says Hyde's loop and beaner is durable because there's a lot of throwbacks that aren't durable. And then finally, a waist belt. You said hip. I call it hip, but I call it waist belt. Having a waist belt throwback, I think, is becoming more standard practice. So, I don't want to take the whole show on this, but just some quick comments. Aaron has stock. What? Oh, you have stock? No, you don't. He doesn't have stock.
NRS. NRS really should sponsor me because I've been saying so many great things about him here on the show. So NRS, send me some.
NRS should sponsor you. Aaron, really. NRS.
Give me an NRS hat. I'll wear one of your NRS hats. I'm for sale.
NRS, if you're one of our 12 listeners, please send Aaron a hat.
I need a new hat. Yeah.
The Sterling float line is sweet. There's different Sterling float lines. Hold on, I have one here. This is a 200 foot. So the same rope that is in this throw bag right here is this Sterling. I think this is the Ultra line. I have 200 feet right here. I use as a haul line sometimes. So it's I like this because it's a pretty small size. You can realistically bring it, and it's not super expensive. So this Sterling rope is a good haul line. I wouldn't want it on like an 18-foot gear boat, but for almost every application, this is pretty sweet rope.
I like it looks a lot softer and more manageable than like those old long lines we used to have, which were so stiff that you couldn't even get them in the throw bag very easily.
Yes. The ropes. Yeah.
The ropes in the dry bag, not throw bag.
So wait, what's the difference between whole line private building? I think this is private
boating.
I think that for private boating, that rope, the one that's in the NRS throw bag, I think it's Ultraline, is awesome. Unless you're just really having to do something insane, it's amazing.
So Zach, you're saying the NRS throwback sucks, but the lining is amazing.
The rope in it's amazing.
Okay.
As haul rope, but I don't want to throw that rope. Let's get to this. Let's get to these comments. I don't want to talk about that.
Okay.
Throwing from a rat boat. I don't know what a rat boat is, but yes. Aaron Rodgers. 9% classic. Aaron's for sale. Hey, we should. I really want to get into NFTs, and so I should make an Aaron Cavagnolo NFT where if somebody buys this NFT, you have to wear whatever they say on the show.
What's NFT? I don't understand what that means.
Not non-fungible token. I'll educate you later. Okay. You need to watch more news. 5/8, Peter. Whoa, that's a haul line. As a haul line. Wait, 5/8 is pretty burly.
Will that even fit inside the pulleys?
Yeah. 5/8 to 11 inches, I think, or 11 millimeters. Hold on, 5/8 to millimeters. I have to think in millimeters sometimes. It's 2 millimeters. What? 16 millimeters? Did I do this right? That's a lot of rope. Yeah, Peter. I mean, are you sure it's 5/8? That seems pretty big. Half inch is big. We have some 1/2 inch. Yeah. There we go.
Like, okay. All right.
I mean, I think the standard is 3/8. Yeah. I think that's pretty standard for throw bags. And I want to go on my little short separate rant. This is a good time to bring it up. I now believe that people should carry waist belts or have a personal throw bag they have a relationship with. I've been thinking about it. Have I told you this about how I think it's like a Jedi's lightsaber? Your throw bag is like your lightsaber. When you get a lightsaber, you go to this temple on this planet, and Yoda takes you, and you have to go find your kyber crystal, and then you have to make your own lightsaber with the Force. You got to watch Clone Wars if you want to watch. Clone Wars is ridiculous. Another side story. Anyway, I feel like with throw bags, we should almost make our own throw bags. Like you should be required to go find the rope, go on like this search for rope, and hand sew your throw bag to be the one that matches you. By the way, the Wookiee Jedi has the sickest lightsaber, like a wooden hilt. Anyway, so whereas but even though we're not going to do that, nobody here is going to go make their own throw bag by hand. But at a minimum, we should try some on, the one that fits us and matches our personality and our styles. And so I think that for most of us, that might be a 3/8 inch bag or a 1/4 inch bag based on what we're doing. And my new take is, if you have a static line on the trip, like a real static line, you want something like this. You want something that's easy to deploy, easy to stuff, durable. It's a Ninja. If you don't have a static line on the trip, then you might bring this, right? But you're not going to be able to save your friends the same as if you had something else. And you might need a few of them. You can't just have one, right? So I'm going to recommend, and commercially, you have to have a static line. Privately, if you have a gear boat, this is pretty minimal for a gear boat. But this is probably fine for paddle boats, for cats, for duckies, right? So this might be your static line for small boats, but you also want something like this or like this as your throw bag. That's like your personal throw bag. That's like your lightsaber. This isn't a lightsaber. This is I don't know. This is this is a different tool, right? This is a rescue tool. This is the bare minimum of throw bags almost. This is the bare minimum of rescue lines, right? So if you had,
I'll give you that. Yeah.
If you had the awesome 200-foot line, whether you had the one I had back here or a real static line, like a real static line, plus this, that's pretty bomber because you can get people, you can be a ninja, right? Yep. Plus you have the static line to do those duties. This is a compromise. That's it's not going to throw well. It's not going to help with wraps much, right? And it's And if I'm going to compromise, I'm going to personally compromise with this because this is amazing rope. It throws well. I'm going to always choose and I've been wearing this one a lot. This is a good compromise over this because this throws better. The rope I think it's just as strong.
You wear that one?
I do. It has a waist belt. You'll see in some videos.
Huge. That looks huge.
It's not that big. I mean, Aaron.
Yeah, I would not wear the NRS bag on my body. That thing's huge. Okay, Jack, one thing not on your list I think is really important is the method for attaching the throw bag to your raft.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan of using the clip and not having a carabiner on the throw bag.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like the clip on the top that we talked about, just clip it on. Clip it onto a D-ring, clip it on around, whatever, clip it onto something.
Just take this hand entrapment and clip it onto a D-ring. That's what you're saying.
And then tighten it. Yeah, but don't leave it that big, Zach. You know, tighten
So
it
make
down.
it just that big. So it's just like a half a hand entrapment.
Yeah,
And like clip it
exactly.
on. The problem is the buckle's right here, so the metal's against the buckle, and it could open. It's just like the buckle placement's terrible.
I don't think it's that big of a deal. And those, you know what? And that'll break free. That's not. It doesn't take that much force.
See how the Coca-Tab bag thought about that, and the buckle's off to the side. It's kind of nice. I mean, maybe they thought about it, maybe they didn't. But like, yeah.
But I'm just saying, because the other one is when people clip to the back end and then they clip it up and it dangles and hangs all over the place. I prefer it being tighter and not having the carabiner there. Because one of the other things is like, use locking carabiners on your rig. But I think the less carabiners you have also, the better off you are. Just carabiners are hard metal objects. You're going to forget to lock them sometimes. And I know you got the cool magnet ones that don't do that, but yeah.
I agree. I think having the magnet ones are good and bad, but I think having the throwback that just clips onto something like a D-ring or a frame is pretty. Instead of take like carabiner onto something, you're saying like a lot of people just carabiner their throwback onto something.
Yeah,
I'm with you. Like because you can just like if this is clipped on the frame, you just unclip it and you walk away. Yeah. You're not like going and unscrewing your thing and fighting that for sure.
Yeah, I think you're more likely to carry it on a Scout. It's just like you're more likely to bring it with you. It's easier to access. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that we're getting there to where it's a standard. Do you agree, Aaron? Like carrying your lightsaber, like carrying your lightsaber with you is pretty sweet.
I would say depend on the river you're running. You know, like I'm not on the rogue. I would like if I have a rogue company, I'm like, but you know, on Blossom Day when I get out to Scout, I would, you know, I'd like to see those guys carry a throw bag up with there, you know, and have one with them. You know,
okay, hold on. On the Blossom Scout, really? I mean, that's one place where I'm like, I mean, what do you do to the throwback at the Blossom Scout?
Well, you're not going to do anything up there, but if you want, there's something happening, you got to run down and help out somebody. What are you going to do?
Depends. Like so I just did a commercial road trip. We scouted from way up high and just looked way down. We didn't walk all the way down to the rapid. From way up high, what's a throwback going to do for you up there?
Not up there, but okay, you see one of your guests fall out of the boat and start floating down, you like can run down there and get them. You don't have anything to get them, you know, and they're floating past you into the rapid. You're like, oh, you know, because you can get down there pretty quick down to water level from that high point. Yeah.
No, I'm 100%. I'm just like playing devil's advocate. I'm 100%.
No, like, I think, and I'm like the probability, really low, but I think that's a good rule. A general rule is have a throw bag with you when you're scouting and wear your PPE. You know, have your life jacket on, zipped up. Don't be barefoot and life jacket off, and you know, and like whatever, drinking your beer. Just be like, hey, this is a serious place. So.
Yeah, no, yeah. So I think like last week I did a commercial trip and I was staying the paddleboarding and I didn't want to wear a waist belt because I had the waist belt thing that ties my thing on. So I had one clipped on my sup, and then every time I scouted, I took it with me. It was like ready to go. I took it on every scout for sure. Just it's a good habit to be in. But normally I'm trying to wear a waist belt these days. So I have it with me all the time. And more of our guides are starting to have waist belts, like all the time, 100% of the time, not just a Blossom Day, like day one.
I mean, and honestly, I think is it bad to have it? No. You know, is it bad to wear your seatbelt? No. I mean, is it bad to wear your helmet? No.
And to play devil's advocate, like it's just annoying. You got to put it on, you got to take it off. You know, it gets in the way sometimes. Like, I don't love wearing it always, but man, the peace of mind I have when I have it now is pretty sweet.
I don't like paddle boating with it. And I think I've said this before, is when I'm trying to slide down in the back of the boat to get down, it always catches and keeps me up there. I'm like, and then I'm worried I'm going to get tossed. And so that's the one place I'm not a big fan of it. And I don't like to wear it in the paddle boat when I'm guiding a paddle boat.
But Aaron, most people that paddle boat don't like lay in the bottom of the boat and hold on for dear life like you do.
Well, I think they may want to rethink that because I'm pretty good at staying in my boat. So, and like that's the number one rule is stay in your raft, you know?
Yeah, I don't know, man. You guide like this with your paddles at the tube sometimes.
Yeah, I do. I like over the side. I'll be sitting down the bottom. Yep. We just reach the arms over. You bet. Yeah. No, I'm always sliding in and out of the boat. Or you can do the stand up thing too and let it kick underneath you. But that's the one spot where I just find moving around it catches me more often than I'd like.
Yeah.
Like, like that's, yeah. Do you
So
find with the chairs, those little cool little chairs for your cats? Do those catch your bag at
a
all?
little bit, it depends.
Okay.
Yeah. I think there's some video of me here. We'll show in a sec where it does. But I just want to wrap this one up on throwbags a little bit. And I think I'm gonna do a gear garage on it because I think there's a lot of people who just have a throwbag but don't really think about why. And I feel like I think a throwbag is just a critical tool that we have. And it's something that we have to respect because by throwing a rope in the water, we're adding danger. We're trying to make things safer by adding a dangerous thing to the river. But when we do that, it needs to be something that is well thrown accurately because it's important. And I think that we should be thoughtful in the throwbags that we buy based on what we're doing, right? And if we have a static line with us, we don't, we should think about our system. Are we just like one bag fits all but doesn't do very well anything? Or do we want to try to have like a group static line, but everybody having something like this or this that they can accurately throw at a distance? And so I think being thoughtful on your system personally and as a team is important. And there's a lot of factors. Again, if you go with a 1/4-inch line, that's super cool, easy to throw, but it's hard to pull on, right? And you're not going to do any mechanical advantage. So all of these have advantages and disadvantages. And it kind of depends on the boating that you're doing.
Okay. Yes, agreed. Zach, I just want to say, I believe the NRS bag that you just referred to, I passed the IRF throwback test using that bag.
Good job.
So
you're a hero.
I'm saying it's a good bag. I like that bag. That's because I've used that bag the most. That's why I grabbed that one.
That's why you passed it. Yeah, that's why you passed it with that bag. But most people would really struggle.
Yeah, but I think most people struggle because they don't practice the throwback. That's the issue. The issue isn't the bag they're using; just don't practice the throwback.
If you do 100 practices with this one and 100 practices with this one, you're gonna be better with this one. That's my point. Now you're Aaron. I mean, you're a goddamn hero, and so it doesn't matter what bag you have. You're basically we can handicap you all you want, and you're gonna save the day with this thing.
That's not handicap. I'm saying
handicap, but the average person is not gonna be able to throw that bag very well.
That's the only bag we used to use on creek trips. We'd carry 2 per raft.
Imagine how good you would be if you had better bags.
I can't remember a single time where it was like, ooh, if we had a different bag, we would have saved that dude. There's never been one.
Did you ever use throwbags for swimmers on the creek?
No.
Yeah, because I think that's like on what you're doing. You guys are doing something that is revolutionary called boat spacing. It's another idea that you have. You protect each other with boats. It's a new concept out there, right? You're using throwbags to like lower boats over granite boulders or to do complicated portages at Lumsden or to like line, I don't know, you might be lining parts of flat rock. Like you're using them as like almost rock climbing tools. You're not using them to like rarely to throw. It's almost always like a short throw. We're clipping on your boat and doing something with that as a rope.
And most of the time it is a fairly short throw just because the river's not that wide.
Exactly. But just because that works for you on Cherry Creek doesn't mean the whole world needs to have Aaron's NRS throwback.
But that is a good point about lining boats. And that's another advantage of that NRS bag is it's amazing. It's the best bag for lining rafts because of the diameter of it. Yeah. The bag, and it's nice. You can open up the top of it and you can leave the rope in there, but then you have that little strap at the top. And then you can hold it. And so you don't have to pull all the rope out until you need it. It just all sits in the bag. And then you can coil it. That bag, how are you going to hold onto that bag? How do you manage that bag while you're lining the boat?
The thing about this bag that's cool is this mouth opens up so big.
Yeah. So show me how are you holding onto the bag?
Like this, champ.
Yeah, that's really awkward. Do the other one. No, yeah, open up the other one, loosen up the strap on the other one, but don't unclip it. Keep it clipped. But loosen that strap a bunch. Loosen the strap a bunch.
Oh, so now I have to. Oh, so create the hand entrapment. Got it.
Yeah, loosen it more. Loosen it more. Loosen it more.
Now I have a leg entrapment.
Now you hold that in your hand, and then you can have the rope out, and you can hold and manage the rope a lot better.
Yeah, whatever.
It's way better than that.
It's better because you've done it a lot. Anyway, we need to end this conversation because I want to make the point that like it does depend on your skill and the river you're on.
And what you're using it for, yeah.
What you use it for sure.
Yeah.
But I think what I want to talk about is just like there's different advantages and disadvantages to all this stuff, most of the stuff, and to be thoughtful. Don't just buy a random throw bag because there's something that might be better for you.
Yeah.
Aaron's so frustrating.
So Zach, what's your favorite throwback for lining boats?
I do like the NRS one for lining boats.
Do you?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm gonna line a boat and that NRS one's there, I'll be like, oh yeah, that's sweet. Like, cool.
That's probably now that I think about it, that's probably the best use for that bag. That's where it probably
it's a safety line in a bag.
Yeah.
This is what this is. This isn't. I wouldn't even just. I would not call this a throw bag. This is a safety line in a bag, right? That's what this is. This is a bag full of safety line. This is a multiple use throwback tool. The beautiful thing about this one is it has the carabiner ready to go, clip on the boat. Right. So when you get your NRS bag to go line a boat, you got to go find a carabiner or go tie a bowline. And some people think bowlines are sketchy. Some people might think that you're being, irresponsible by tying a bowline and not using a carabiner. But
yeah, that's because they're not good at knots. But let's check out this video.
All right. So this is the wrap that we saw.
I think. Oh man, why am I? Oh wow, you can hear it. This is 1993 Blue Puma asked us to review this. Yeah, thanks, Russell.
So that's bad.
That's a bad wrap. Yeah,
it's pretty bad.
I feel like I've seen this before. We haven't reviewed this.
I don't know. I'm looking at it.
Okay.
If we get caught, so I mean.
All right.
Here's my first thoughts. Here's my first thoughts. A Koei River. There's gonna be a lot of traffic, right? You pretty much you really can't put a rope across the river until like everybody's gone through. Second, I'm thinking, how long are those people gonna be sitting out there? Do we just get them off, or what's that gonna look like? Third, I'm looking for downstream safety. Make sure if they fall off, who can help them. Fourth, we need to send somebody upstream if we're gonna use ropes to spotter. And then fifth, I just feel like there's going to be like superheroes out here that want to save the day and just like try to quickly recognize who those people are and provide safety for them. Somebody is going to be a hero here because it's like a high traffic area. Somebody's going to do something that's maybe dangerous.
Totally. And you're going to get a lot of annoying people who are going to want to help you and give you direction.
Yeah. How are you going to manage I've been on the Koei for 45 years. I pull my wraps off here. Let me just take over. Like there's a social part of managing this scene
But sometimes those people have really good advice in the same breath. It's like, hey man, I've had like 10 wraps here, and this works for us every time.
Yeah.
It's helpful to hear that from the person, but also that person has got to be cool. And then if you decide like, nah, I don't want to use that, they'd be like, okay, cool. Whoa, going for the swim.
This may be the hero we're talking about.
Oh, wow. Does he have like a line attached to him, or just swimming out there? What's the deal? I'm assuming it's a guy because I don't think most women are smarter than this.
That's sexist. How dare you?
Yeah, I know it is. But they talk about with backcountry skiing incidents, the biggest factor in whether or not people will get killed backcountry skiing is whether or not there's a woman in the group. And that you're way safer if you have a woman in your group. Like by far and away, the stats support that. So it's interesting. So yeah, it is sexist, but keeps you alive. So nice swim up there. Oh, there's a kayaker.
Tough eddy catch for a kayaker.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's pretty bad.
Is there no guide with them, or is there just? It looks like there's a guide with them.
Or is this the guide? It's a throwback.
The NRS throwback, but it's not got the spectral line.
But if he throws in the bag, what's he going to do with the bag? Get him off the rock, I guess?
Or maybe he's trying to get up to the rock to help him out.
So he just added a rope, which is danger. Like, what if they get tangled in the rope?
Yeah.
They're gonna pull him up. Got it.
Yeah, I think they don't have anyone who knows what they're doing there.
Got it.
I will say I think this is a great opportunity for tube deflation from what I'm seeing there. I would the river left tube out of the water, I'd deflate that one a little bit, and I bet it would pop right off.
That's the guide.
Yeah, the guide's on the rock.
They're commercial guests. And so we got superhero coming to save the day. I mean, typically before I'm a superhero, I take a little bit more time.
Well, maybe they did,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I think that one. Well,
It doesn't
yeah.
look as bad from here, actually.
No, I think you deflate that tube right there. That's it, by the G. Deflate that tube a little, and that thing would come right off.
You know that's an airboat, so the tubes aren't in 4 chambers.
Yeah, but even that you can see the tube back there. I think even if you just deflate that tube a little bit, it'll soften up. Yeah, I know it's an airboat, so it's annoying. It doesn't work quite the same, but yeah. Now they're attaching a line on the side that they want to reduce. See, that's not going to work well, right? Because almost all the water is going around the river right there.
What is that? I don't even know what that is.
What knot is that? Yeah, that's an interesting knot.
Huh.
Ooh, did they fall
maybe,
in? Oh, but no, I did see it in. No.
I mean, whoever this is very comfortable in the water.
Yeah.
Swimmers swim towards guide. Oh, they're swimmers. Oh, yikes. Oh, like this is okay. Swimmers. Okay, so the guide left his raft on the right. Down there, it looks like.
Yeah.
That boat's about to come off, and there's a boat surfing the hole on purpose or accident.
So what was this? What did they say? What was the message about?
Whoa.
What was that?
Hold on. So wait, here's what happened, I think. I didn't even see that. Hold on.
Whoa.
So there's a boat surfing the hole. Wow, the Akoe's legit. And then
it's swimmers.
swimmers from the raft. And then the guide is on this paddle boat. And his boat's, he's like, hey, hold on to my boat, probably to the guests. I'm going to go save the day really quick. And then the guests try to save other guests, and now they're floating downstream.
Their boats got pulled off the shore and going downstream.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because he didn't tie his boat up.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. Well, now you have a serial problem. Like you didn't have a real problem before. There we go. Yeah, that guy. Oh, so the guy in the boat. Who's the guy in the boat?
Must be another guy.
Yeah. Now you have an actual problem. Like before, you were just like, I get a boat wrapped and people stuck. Now you have like commercial passengers going down.
So can we pause for a second here?
Yeah, because I think this is the real problem. Like you now have a raft without a guide floating downstream.
Yeah,
that's the problem. That's not good.
Well, that's one of many problems here in this scenario. Like Zach, this is like an RRF scenario right here. Like, remember this one for your next time you teach a course. You're like, okay, yeah, then you go upstream, and when they go upstream, you need to just push your raft off and just go downstream without the guide in there.
I mean, most people in IRF course will tie their boat up. Like they're going to be careful. I mean, that boat need to. You can't tell guests, hey, hold on to the raft while I walk up and save the day. Right.
Yeah. Now here's a question: these people that are sitting on this on this rock here, would you get them off the rock? The guests?
That's where I'm trying to make it. I'm personally trying to make it.
Because like
I'm trying to decide if I can I get the boat off or not. Like and right now I'm like from shore I'm like that boat's not coming off for a while. It's going to be a major problem. Right now, like, can we do something quick without ropes to shore to get it off? But then once it comes off, we have a bunch of people stuck on the rock.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think right now, personally, I'm going to try to do something quick to get the boat off. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to get them off.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. I'm not sure. Well, my question would be is like, let's say you do know you can. Do you think if you pulled the raft off, you're going to be able to keep that raft in position where the guests are going to be able to get back in the raft right there? Okay.
Well,
so if you don't think that's the case, then I think you just get the guests out of there right now.
Where do you put them? Where do you have them swim down?
I would probably, you know how the guide went up? Guide swam across. And
but you can do that. You can do that later too. Like you have a chance of getting them in the boat. Like so, the guide can hold on to the ropes. Like because you have another guide there, she can hold on to the rope while superhero does all the stuff, right? And then if it comes off, she has the rope. Hopefully, that rope doesn't knock somebody off the rock.
I think that boat's gonna be so full of water, it's gonna be hard to. I don't know. I'm very much of like. Guests get stressed out being up there and all that. Like maybe they've done a bunch. Maybe they know they can pull the boat in behind there. But in general, I just get the guests out of there.
Give it 10 or 15 minutes. Like let's just try to find an easy, quick solution. Which I don't know what is going on here with all this. Is this supposed to be This is something he was taught in a rescue class, but doesn't know how to do. I'm pretty sure. Like they're like, oh, do a transport hitch inside the raft. He's like, okay, cool. And then in this situation, he just does that, whatever that is.
I think he's trying to do a little bit of self-equalizing thingy, but
I don't. That's the angle. Like that's like the guy. Oh, here we go. He's throwing
no,
the flip.
they're doing it. That's what they're doing. Now they're throwing the bag to shore. So
Right.
yeah, and then that's actually a great angle to pull.
Yeah, that's the angle.
If that's what they're doing with it, that's great. Yeah. And those people still surfing in the hole down there.
On purpose or accident. Dude, Cody's legit. But what are there more? Like my worry of throwing a bag is, are there more boats coming down?
Yeah.
It doesn't look like you can stop boats, right? Because
and I saw that if you notice that other boat went to the left of them, so maybe someone's upstream telling people, "Wow, nice throw."
oh, must have been an RS throw bag.
Oh, he fell in.
That's a tough. First of all, Aaron, he did what you wanted, throw the bag from the boat, right? But this is where, I mean, Aaron, I couldn't have set this up better. If he had the Kokota bag, he'd have the best chance of making that throw.
Well,
Now
let's be
he's
honest.
doing whatever is happening now. Now he's a rope down. It's just like he's not going to.
I'm going to say this, Zach. Like this is something that the guide who was out there, no matter how, even if you're like a brand new guide, that's why you need to be able to set up an anchor on your boat, because they didn't really need to swim out there. This guy could have been throwing the bag from shore out there. Plus the bag, maybe it was he's trying again now.
Is he going to do a coil? I mean,
see, this is why I like to get all the other guests just out of there. Just get them.
And now I'm ready. But I think there could have been a pull on the boat situation. You know, like what we call strong arm pull. I can't believe they're still surfing. That's the same crew surfing. And their passengers are downstream being saved by the guy of this boat.
Oh boy! Wow, that's wow. Man,
oh, another kayaker to save the day.
Yeah,
I think at this point, like the only thing they can't put a rope across the shore. There's too much traffic.
They just tried to.
They're not going to get the rope across. Even if they do, there's too much traffic coming down the river. They need to come back and get this boat tomorrow. Like get the people off the boat. I'm ready. I'm ready to put get them off the boat.
Whoa! Hold on there, Turbo. Slow down.
I'm going to leave the boat.
Slow down.
You just call me Turbo.
You're like rushing off there. Yeah, we gotta leave the boat. We gotta go. Okay. First of all, let's see if we can just, like you said, pull on the boat a little bit. You know what I mean?
I'm with you,
pull
but
he's not on one side. Let's do a little bit of that. Put our feet on it. Try to push out maybe on the river left side of it. Push it off. Create less friction between the boat and the rock, and see if you can move it around.
Another missed throw.
And then
that one. Hold on.
Yeah. So then deflate that tube a little bit. Just deflate that one tube a little bit.
No, Aaron. Hey, hold on. So first of all, I think we're in agreement that throwing bags across the river here isn't going to help. Like they can't make the toss, and there's too much traffic. So their only option is to do stuff like tube deflation and push and pull on the raft. They're not doing those things, right? That should have been their step one. They're already on like step 3. They skipped pushing and pulling on their own, right? If he got on that boat with a flip line and pulled and tugged on it, who knows, it might come off, or did some tube deflation. Somebody taught them in a Whitewater rescue course, RAP equals Z-rig. So they're thinking, oh, RAP equals Z-rig. Let's get a rope across. Here we go. This guy's going to throw the rope.
You're right, and you're right about the safety upstream. There's no one upstream telling people to go around left of it, because people keep coming bombing down from right where they're trying to throw the bag. That seems really scary.
If they get a rope across, they're just going to be decapitating people and make a bigger issue. So
it's good that they are not able to make. That's good that they have the NRS bag. They can't make the throw across, because if they had the Kokota bag, they'd be killing people right now.
It's good they're handicapped. Which is weight bill. Maybe. I don't know. I never thought about that.
Yes, it does.
Rookie guide on rock.
Anything that floats gives you more flotation. The bag floats.
Rookie guide on rock. Well, we don't know that's a rookie guide, so maybe not. It could, she could be like a 10th year guide who's super awesome, and this guy's rescue squirrel who's like, I'm taking over. Right? We don't know.
And I'm gonna say, unfortunately, there's those people who do that, who don't give people the space to.
Yep.
And it's hard to give people the space, but
he's just like, I'm a rescue squirrel. Maybe he has a crush on her, needs to show off a little bit. So I want to watch this throw again. Overhand throw. I mean, not even close. But if he can maybe, that's dangerous. Okay, sorry, I had to go back and watch this again. Let me get some comments. The traffic hasn't even started yet. There's more traffic coming. Awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, Rick. Thanks for being on the show.
Yeah.
From Alberta. Jared, what's up? That's maybe the most experienced skilled personnel on that rock, and nobody else managing part of the scene. Yeah, I mean, I should have mentioned that earlier. Like, put one person in charge and have them be hands off. That's my normal pre-wrap talk. It says Rick. Oh, got it. Thanks, Blue Puma. She's getting more comfortable now. Like she's standing. You know, it turns out you can stand in. Like I don't say always, but you can stand in that wrap. It's actually not as scary as it looks.
Oh my! Look at.
Oh man. Oh, another surf. What?
I think they're surfing on purpose. Come on, this is like.
Look how continuous it is. It's pretty continuous. Like,
it looks really fun. Yeah.
There's not a pool above or below, so swimmers are gonna. This is insane. I want to go do this river and see that boat on river right there, just hanging out, waiting for their turn to surf. I guess.
Yeah. I think they're trying to surf for fun. That's what it looks like, huh? Going back though. Yeah, it would be nice to see them
right into them.
Oh, a bunch of people fell out too. Yeah. How long does this video go, Zach?
Okay, to me, the biggest danger here is just people spread out everywhere along the bank, and you don't have count of your passengers. Right? Mm-hmm. Like the scene's out of control. Let's just get off the rock. Let's regroup everybody, leave the boat there, and deal with it later. Especially if this is dam control river, and I don't know if it is or not. If the water drops at night, just get it tomorrow.
Okay.
Decided to walk around. They're portaging? That is awesome. Oh, and that boat's going to hit them. Hopefully. Oh, man.
Oh,
they got a rope across. All right, now we're going to find out. Okay, this is why you send it upstream. Are you kidding me? Wait, what?
They just go over it. No big deal, Zach. Why are we always worried about this? Look, you just drop it down into the river and they just paddle over the top of it.
I've never, ever seen anybody actually do this.
I guess that's the preferred technique.
Wow.
I guess you don't have to signal people to move out of the way.
We are so lucky they're sharing this on the internet. This is so when we talked earlier about throw bags afloat, this is what happens, right? It's cool. They float in a lake, but in current, they don't float, right? So like having
move.
Yeah, that was it. Having, this is where like we all say, go have a throw bag that floats. Sure. Or like there's a little loop of rope down there. But like in reality, it gets caught in the current and sinks. Like the fact that it floats isn't helping you here at all.
Their timing of when they finally got the rope across is amazing. Like they were waiting for it to
They'll never, I mean, what? I really want to know what happens here. Thank you, whoever shared this video with us.
Russell. 1993.
No, Russell, but also like who took the video? Who like who did the GoPro and said, "Hey, I'm going to put this on the YouTube," because there's probably for every one of these, there's 5 people who just deleted it so nobody would see it. Okay, he's like, "I'm good. Let's dance." Of course, this throwback is not adequate. Like, it's going to stretch too much. That's my point. He's going to get it on his little system he built, but like, it's just going to. It takes so much force to pull this boat off.
Okay. I would have got the guests off first, particularly if you know you're going to be pulling from shore to get the boat off. Because if you pull from shore to get the boat off,
well, you're saying that now, Aaron. Earlier,
no, but
like,
no. I was always of the feeling get them out of the way, get them on shore.
Oh, here we go. Thumbs up. He's like, go up there, pull hard. I wonder if they're on a system. Give me a paddle. What's the paddle for? Oh, there we go. There he's signaling people. There we go. That's something. That's something. That's not adequate. That's the international signal for their rope in the water. I mean, they got the angle right. This is how you got to pull this bad boy off. But
great angle.
One person pulling on it with that crappy end of rest rope.
I'm going to go back to guest maintenance. I think you get them off there right away. Get them out of there. Get them out there first, and then deal with the raft. Because they were never trying to pull it around behind the rock. If you're going to try to pull on to get it behind the rock, then yeah, maybe keep them out there. Otherwise, you know that they're not going to be there, so get them out of there.
Yeah, but he's not thinking ahead yet. He's not thinking about the end result. He's thinking about getting the boat off. Number one, that's all he cares about. The end result is.
Well, I think that's the key thing too.
Is this going to work?
We discussed this.
If he has a few people up there. Oh, great! Are you serious? I do actually kind of want to see do. Anyway, 10 minutes. Oh, there we go. There we go. Yep, and it does drop out. So how'd they get the guests off? That guy portage. Wait, is that that commercial boat did portage?
What?
Yes, it's awesome. I want to portage a Raptors commercial. Wait, now so this is how he's going to get the guests over? Putting another rope across the river? Oh, they're going to pull a raft over. That's got it. He's going to pull the other raft over to get that. That's smart. I just worry about the upstream people coming. What do we got here? Any more comments?
Yeah, that's a great solution. Pull the boat over and up.
If I'm super upbeat and positive. Is there audio? I didn't hear if there's audio or not.
Yeah.
Felt like the river culture on this river is all about getting dump trucked. Looks super fun though. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's pretty common of like the South Fork of the American or
popular rivers. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a problem. Is there's nobody upstream at all. They're pretty.
That worked really well. That was a really good rescue. That right there worked great. Yeah.
So I mean, what you're saying, Aaron, is number one thing. The guide on the rock should have thrown a rope to a boat on the shore and pulled it over, unloaded the people. Oh, here we go, dump truck again. Does anybody know the name of this rapid? I want to research this rapid now. Boat swings away from the guest stuck on the rock. Wouldn't you want to move the guest to the island below the rock?
Exactly.
I don't really want to put the guests in the water, to be honest with you. That made me nervous. Like having them swim down. Like I'm just thinking about.
I wouldn't have them swim down. Have them hold onto a throw bag and just kind of lower them down.
Then what?
Yeah. Then they're down at that island, and then you pendulum them across. I think this worked better. I will say this worked better. That worked better, but I think that other would have worked well too. Yeah.
Cleanly getting off the rock. Yeah, I think that.
Yeah. Yeah, the other one was. Yeah. I think this is before when they were pulling on the rock. That's the whole thing.
That kayaker was sick. Do you see that? He basically boofed the rock. Brown claw guy. I think if you can like pull on it with rope, like if you have it not from the shore, if they pull it from the shore, they can't get off. But if you're like pulling on it, and it's like, oh man, it's almost gonna come off. You clip a rope on it, have other guy hold on to it, and you get it off, and it comes around in the Yeti. I think there is a way to do it.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Peter. I agree with Peter there. It's just like I would just get the guests out of there. Just like more problems, more stuff to go wrong. Just get them out of the scene. Get them someplace where they're comfortable and they can be like, okay, I'm safe with a bunch of other people. And then the guide who's working with the newer guide, it can just be more like, hey, them figuring out the newer guy getting opportunity to learn a little bit.
Another one, runaway raft. Wait, I think, and this goes back to my big thing. Where are all the other? Do you have everybody? A raft was left alone. Oh man, the guy just good luck. This is to me. This is the big hazard. You have boats without guides floating down. You don't know where your guests are. Like that first boat that left without a guide. That's to me the real hazard here.
I think that's the biggest takeaway from this is like, yeah, when you're next to a dynamic stretch of river and you having someone just hold on to your boat and the guide's not around, that's not a good scene. You're asking for problems there. Like tie the boat off, make sure the boat's secure, like particularly if you're going to be there for a longer period of time. All
right. Well, Aaron, I got one more. Any thoughts before I throw up our last little bit of video for the day?
Is this Wind River footage?
No, but that'd be funny. It's close though. It's footage from the Rogue last week. It's more of this. Any thoughts about that before we move on to into the questions? Anything you want to
Does
go over
anyone
there?
else?
I think
No, I think just to review, I think there's a couple of key things is like management of people who aren't comfortable in that dynamic situation and them leaving them sitting on a rock for a long time. And maybe that group was totally cool and they were fine with it, but in general, it's best get them off the rock, get them out of there. You know, it's just like, particularly if you think there's a way for them to get back on the raft that they're originally on, great. Otherwise, I'm a big fan of just getting them out of there. So
that was a cool rescue of people. That was cool. I
yeah,
think that
totally.
I'm a big fan of putting people on boats if you can. Get a boat out there.
Yeah. I think that was the biggest positive takeaway is the way they rescued people on the raft. That was awesome. And that was something like cool. And they had some people in the back paddling it up and they kind of used the throw bag to pull it on up there. Oh,
and my my big thing is when a situation like that happens, there's a few things I always go back to. Like I forgot to say at the beginning, like put one person in charge. Make sure somebody's in charge, upstream spotters, downstream safety, and then think about what's going to happen when the raft comes off. A lot of people don't think about that. They pull like have a plan for what happens when the raft comes off.
Yeah, totally.
Those are my things. I think that's the things I always talk about that people forget about.
And it's just equipment.
Yeah, that was.
It's just a raft.
It was equipment retrieval, and then they had guests going downstream. That was not my favorite part. Yeah. I like the middle chute. Yeah, so moving on. This is some footage from the Rogue last week. We did a rowing school there, so we had I think there's 18 boats on the water, and we don't let our guests run Rainy or our students run Rainy or the top of our Blossom, so we have to lap through them. So I got some video here of the mid chute.
You had an 18 raft trip, one trip with 18 boats
every week right now. We have because there's 12 students, and then it was 12 student rafts, 12 students, and there's typically 3 instructors in their own rafts, and there's typically 3 gear boats. There's everybody has their own boat. We did a 19 women. We did all women's rowing school, 19 women, 19 rafts.
Do other people get upset with you guys? You're like a funeral person. You're like a funeral procession. You know?
Well, that's why we don't do it in the peak of the season, right? We're doing these in May, early June, and September. If we did this in July, it's more crowded. But like I was out there last week, the river was not many people out there. It was cool. So it was fine.
How do you guys have enough space at camp for all your boats? How do you pull up for lunch? Carefully.
You have to be very thoughtful. I mean, you basically have boats you have them come in, tie a boat up, and then like be very thoughtful of the spots, and then tie a boat to the back of it and climb over the raft. It depends. Some spots are fine. I mean, when we have lunch, usually one boat's gone ahead, to get camp. So yeah, I'm trying to think.
So only 18 rafts at lunch.
Like our first lunch was Grave Creek, right? No problem with right, like at the bridge, no problem, right? And then that night we camped at Lower Whiskey, which is a little tight for boats, but there's plenty of room. And then we have lunch on the second day. I forget, but I don't remember. And then we camped at Horseshoe, plenty of room for boats. We had to be a little careful. Camped at Middle Tacoma the last night. It was fine. Anyway, yeah. Well, I got the Orlocks. This isn't my boat. I'm all of our students. Typically, we have them learn with oar rights. So I'm running one of the student boats through the mid chute.
So Zach, why do you teach with oar rights and not pins and clips?
That's a good question. I mean, the quick answer is everybody just likes oar rights. Oar rights are the thing. It's just people just use oar rights. We're in a sport where I think oar rights are what people use, right? And so I think people like spinnies. They want to get into spinnies. And most of our people learning to row are going to do like class 2 and 3 in general. They're rarely going to do anything really hard. I used to teach both. I used to make one set of pins and clips go on every trip. And it's just more gear, more annoying things, the oars. So, all of our commercial guests all of our commercial boats are spinning. So just to be consistent, we're about spinnies. And then oar rights help people learn. Does that answer your question? So
when you row a gearboat on the Rogue, do you use spinnies?
Yeah.
I thought you didn't like spinnies.
That's not true. What are you talking about?
I thought
I
you were a
do.
hater of spinnies.
No, I mean, I insies and outies, I have question, but I use spinnies all the time for like class 2 and 3. It's fine, right? Once we get into class 4, I mean, I would like the Illinois. I would run the Illinois and spinnies. I just wouldn't be excited about it. I have more fun with pins and clips. So here we go. This is the mid shoot. The rainy. Those of you that don't know Rainy Falls, there's 3 lines. The main falls is just a big drop into a hole. People call it class 5. The mid shoot, people call this class 4, and the fish ladder far right is just kind of, you'll see a boat over there right now. It just kind of bumps down the right, and you see she's not even rowing it. She's just paddling with the paddle in the front. And normally, I'm gonna pause it right here. Normally, right here in a gear boat. Oh shoot, what did I do? Sorry. Normally in the mid shoot, I wouldn't ship normal. Like this is the one place I don't ship blades forward normally. I am here. It's such a steep drop and so narrow. I do throw my handles forward here normally. And those of you doing the mid shoot, I would suggest throwing your. I'm a super anti doing that in general, but here this is a place where it's just such a unique rapid. Like right about here, I normally throw my oars forward. This time I just felt like shipping because it's an easy boat to do. The beauty of having, and I like this video a lot, of having oars shipped correctly, and it was so narrow I had to throw an oar up on the bow, is that I have control of my oars right away, right? Like if you're running a hard rapid and you threw your oars forward, you then have to collect your oars. And, here I have control of my oars immediately so I can make another move if I need to.
Well, I mean, and Zach, there's no move you have to make afterwards, really. Like once you get into the chute, you just want to get into the chute. And there's not another move coming out of the chute that you have to have your oars ready for. It's helpful to have them.
Yeah.
But it's not required.
And again, we were 18 boats, so me catching this eccentric eddy kind of helped, right? Because it's just like if I went down further, I'd be hogging to other places. And this is just some random surfing video I threw in there that I just found.
What do you think of that setup? Do you think they're pretty far back?
Yeah.
Where they're sitting for rowing?
Yeah. This is his personal setup.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, he's pretty far back. But if you have a passenger, it's perfect, right? Like, so if he sits somebody, like normally I think he'd have somebody sitting on that box up in the front. This is like a Recrotech frame. So this is how Timmy builds them. And so it's built so you can have passengers sit on that front box. It works great. It works fine. It's just better if he's centered. And this is one of our boats. We just stopped for a little surf session. This is telephone hole. The holes actually, this is just a pour over. There's a hole afterwards here that duckies flip all the time. Yeah. I think it's pretty standard. Just throw your. I mean, I don't want my guides shipping for real in there because they'll break oars like crazy. I just teach them. This is the one place I want you throwing the handles forward. There's nowhere else I can think of you don't throw those handles forward.
Zach, do you prefer to run the middle chute to the fish ladder?
I mean, more just to show off.
We're Northwest. We run the middle chute.
No, I mean we were doing both. I did. I ran 4 boats, 2 mid chute, 2 fish ladder.
Have your gear boats ever gotten stuck in the middle chute, and then like your guests are just waiting on shore for a while because your guys are trying to show off?
It happened 2 weeks ago.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, I don't want us to make mistakes and have our guests wait. But the thing about the mid chute is we run a lot of 18-foot boats. When the water drops, the mid chute's the only option. So I want them to practice the mid chute at higher water, so that when the water drops, they have it dialed.
It's not the only. You can still go down that right chute in an 18-footer.
No, I mean you can probably get an 18-foot boat down there, but there's a time there's a flow. I don't know what it is where the mid chute's way better. I mean, you can either have them wait for you to get stuck on the rocks, or you can have them wait for you to get stuck in the fish ladder for forever.
Yeah, totally.
No,
I'm not. Yeah, definitely not arguing that. No, the fish ladder does get messy as it gets lower for sure.
The other problem is if there's a private group, in the fish ladder for 45 minutes, which happens. it's nice to have another option.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you know, like, so I think being able to run the mid shoot is an important skill, either for low water or when you just get there and it's just crowded, right? Or let's say we I shouldn't say private boater, like it could be us or a different commercial trip. Like if everybody's going for the fish ladder, we're running in series, right? But if we have the mid shoot as an option, we don't spend all day there. Yeah, no, it sucks. Love, and imagine a heavy 18, right? It's you could get it down, but it's brutal. So this video, this is Mule Creek Canyon. I thought one of the coolest parts of the whole river, and it's pretty narrow spot, although it doesn't look that narrow here for some reason.
Well, a little boat, wide angle lens, yeah.
Yeah, that could be it. And we've already passed some of the harder parts. The entrance jaws on the right, and there's a hole called Telfer's Hole that we went into. And I was just taking photos. I'm in the front. Look at that ship. Look at that left ship. Look at that right ship. I'm so stoked on that. To us in the rowing classes, getting to Mule Creek is like a big, test. Cabby developed the skills over the past few days of oar management to get down here, and not smack into the walls, and also decide when to push or pull.
Yeah. Do you like those frames?
Yeah.
Do you ever run them with a slant board?
You can.
Yeah. Have you tried that? Do you guys ever do that?
No. We use these for. We use these. This is the NRS Longhorn. NRS, you can send me a hat if you want to, because I'm gonna pump your stuff. These frames are like super adjustable, so like depending on who's there, we can move everything around. They're light, they're simple, they fit on any boat. So we have like 20 of them.
So why don't you use the slant board versus the seat?
Because people don't like slant boards.
Do you like slant boards?
Yeah.
Okay. I like slant boards.
I don't know. I can sit on a piece of wood and my butt doesn't hurt. But it turns out a lot of people can't sit on a piece of wood for a day and have their butt hurt. I don't know. Maybe I just have like more padding in my butt.
But Zach, there's I'm sitting on a wood chair right now.
Yeah,
there's wood. You eat on wood benches. People sit on hard stuff all the time.
Aaron, stop saying logic. So what? It's like when I like our guides. Like I'll sit on the cooler, right? I'll just sit on the cooler. It's fine.
Yeah.
But our guides need a pocket pad to sit on. Right, because it's like the cooler's so hard to sit on all day, and I've fought them on this forever and made your same arguments. Like, no, just sit on the cooler. Why do you need a pad? But they need a pad, right? So we actually made custom pocket pads the size of our cooler, so they can sit on like smaller pocket pads, just to pad their butts. And I think that I'm just lucky that my butt has more padding, and that I can sit on hard thing. A lot of people have, I don't know what it is. What the thing about where we're at now, we're above. Yeah. What was that?
Nice job pulling it. Yeah, we're just slowing
down.
So
we're above the coffee pot, and the thing I like about this is Ellie is down there in Eddie on the left, and she sees somebody stuck in the coffee pot, and she gives the Eddie out signal. So this is like we had great space in between pods, and then Ellie gave a good signal, and we were able to catch this Eddie, and the other guy saw us catch Eddie, so they were able to catch Eddie on the left. So the person stuck in the coffee pot could do whatever had to get done, and then we could head down.
Oh, that's a great little idea in there, yeah.
And she just gave the signal for stop, her arms wide out, which they knew, but it's good to reinforce it. And so here we're just waiting for whatever to happen and have Ellie give us permission to go down.
I think the trickiest part. Oh yeah, agree with Blue Puma. It's those soft-blooded millennials.
No, it was happening before, Aaron. It was happening when you were out guiding. It's been happening. It's not just millennials.
Oh, I remember we used to put foam on them. Like certain places you put foam on them, but I never really, it never bothered me. I think you get used to it too. So, nice line here.
Now we're in the coffee pot.
The big problem after that, when you eddy out in a situation like that, I think, is like getting everyone ready to pull out together and timing it well to re-establish great boat spacing. Ooh, nicely done. This is tricky in here.
It's tricky. She did great. So here, I mean, this is a boat spacing issue because here the next boat, because she kind of got like slowed down here.
yeah.
Now the like boat spacing and coffee pot's tough, but that worked out. I mean, this is what we did in our this rowing class a lot, was talk about leaving as a team. So they had practiced it for 3 days before we got here. So they're pretty good at leaving together.
Nice.
But I'm just, I'm at the point where like, is that a boat right there? Yeah, there's a boat right there. I'm at the point where I just assume people need padding, like, and people love the seats. We have a ton of slant board frames on the Rogue for the Illinois trips, and we send them on rowing school sometimes, and people aren't happy. So I'm like, you know what? We're just gonna have these Longhorn frames for everybody. Everybody can have a padded seat. Nobody's gonna be upset. It's gonna be fine.
Okay, great. So, question for you: which would you choose to use
On the Rogue?
Yeah, on the Rogue.
That's a good question. Probably the padded seat. I don't know. I'd be fine with the slant board too. That's a good question. I don't know, but probably the padded seat. What about you?
I'm not. If I'm just pushing downstream, I'm probably fine with the padded seat. But I like with the slant board how I can adjust much more the way I'm sitting over time. I feel like I can move around more and put my body in a lot of different positions. I feel like the slant seat, you have to sit in the same spot all day, which I can't sit in the same spot for 5 minutes. Like talking to you right now, I'm moving around, pulling my leg up, moving this leg around here. I'm continually moving, and so I like that about the slant board is can move myself around more.
All right, well, let's finish this show up. I got a couple of Blossom videos, and then we'll shut this one down. So Blossom Bar is like the iconic rapid on the Rogue, and this is where their rafts get screwed up and stuck all the time. Lots of raps. People can die here. Like there's a nasty sieve rock. Like this is a pretty serious rapid. And this is me rowing because we don't let our students row this top part of it. And first thing I want to point out is check it out. I'm wearing my little throwback.
And that's why I hate it though, is you see it catching on the seat there. It's kind of messes up your rowing. And this is why I don't like the seat and I don't like that combo there.
Aaron, is it really messing up my rowing?
Yeah, you can tell. You're making you take shorter strokes. You can't pull your shoulders back as far as you would normally. You're doing these little baby strokes. And you're really tall, so you can get away with it. But people who don't have the length that you have, it's gonna be a lot harder for them. No, I mean, I like the bag. That's one of my problems right there with those seats is that how it hits the small of my back when I'm trying to really pull backwards hard. If I'm trying to do hard downstream ferries, pulling hard backwards, I really prefer the slant board because I've got better range of motion. I feel like I can be more athletic rowing.
Okay, I mean, Aaron, if I'm running Whitewater, I want the slant board. I don't want to run Cherry Creek in a padded seat. Like, I don't even know if I mean, it would be sketchy, right? So if I'm running something hard, I want the slant board. But on the Rogue, I mean, it's nice. No,
John, I agree, Zach. But I think it's an important thing to discuss because where are people wanting to go with their boating? If they're like class 3 is it, but if you want to go class 4, you want to be doing it. You want to get comfortable on a slant board. It's going to be
nobody runs a slant board anymore. Every time I have a slant board, be like, "Whoa, you're old school." You throw some pins and clips at the slant board, and people are like, "Dude, no way." Like nobody runs slant boards. The best cat boaters in the world sit in padded seats. No cat boaters run slant boards except for like Safety Cats in California.
Yeah, but cat boaters are pushing downstream. They're not in general. They're not doing downstream ferry. They're not doing downstream ferries where you have to. Yeah, you could do. Cats are so light. You just flick your wrists and you get enough speed. You don't have to pull that hard with a cat. It's not like
Aaron using a slant board is a lost science. Nobody does that anymore.
What? I can't believe you're saying that.
Aaron, no, I own like 10 of them. So like we use them. I use them high water. I mean, at high water, Middle Fork, or Illinois, I want a slant board. Or even any Illinois trip, I want a slant board. But it's guide's choice. So like, they have options. My guides have options.
How many of your guides are running seats on the Illinois?
I don't know. I think they're running. I don't know. I can't remember. But it's sort of like, Aaron, it's sort of like pins and clips. Like I sit there and I kind of go, yeah, she's pins and clips. And eventually I go out with them, they use them like, oh, now I see it. Now I get it. This is actually pretty smart. Right. Same thing with slant board. Like they're gonna be like, no, my butt's gonna hurt. I'm like, just try it one time. Just try it. See what happens. And they try and like, okay, I get it. That's pretty cool. So like they're traditional. Everybody right now is using, like spinnies and seats. Right. And that's great if you're running like class 2, 3, you can probably do tons of class 4 in it. But as you transition to like 4+5, that you'll survive with spinnies and a padded seat, but you'll thrive with pins and clips in a slant board.
Yeah, and I think exactly. And then I think that's kind of the point, bringing this up and discussing. Yeah, you don't need it. You don't need it for class 3. Maybe I don't need it for class 3. But if you're learning, you're not as good. It's going to be higher performance on slant board. It gives you an added level of safety. So
sure,
yeah.
I mean,
and I think cats are a different ball game, and I can see, I know the great cat boaters. Yeah, they're not using them, but I'd be curious to hear why those cat boaters don't like the slant.
They don't know. They just don't know. They've never tried it.
Okay.
That's the thing, Aaron, is you can't go to NRS and buy a slant. I guess you can maybe, but like nobody uses them. Like literally, when I pull them out, people are like, whoa, what's that? It's not like California in 1999 where it was just like slant boards are all you had.
The old days, 1999.
That is the old days.
But Zach, I'm going to say another question. So why don't you put a seat on top of your cooler there?
Well, this isn't my cooler. This is one of our students' boats. And the problem with the seat on top of the cooler, people do that. This is the problem, actually.
Yes.
This is the problem. And a lot of companies who sell frames don't understand. If you put a seat, this is a dry box. If you put a seat on top, you're already sitting high. You throw a seat mount and then a seat. You're sitting really high. Then you choose to make your oar towers higher. And then all of a sudden you need 12-foot oars on a 15-foot boat. Right. Yeah. So you don't want to be sitting too high because it makes everything else kind of get out of control quick.
Those towers look a little low for that setup. Was that your feeling on it?
Mine, but like the guy running it, he brought 8-inch towers too. These are 6-inch towers. We were swapping them back and forth, trying different oar lengths. And for me, I like the 8-inch oar towers with half an inch, 6-inch longer oars. He liked his shorter oars with the 6-inch towers because he bends over a little bit more, and he was using his arms more. I think he had a hard time rocking his body back when he was rowing. He was more into arms, and based on like just his own, like how he rows, it ended up he liking this more. But we tried a few things out.
Do you ever use little spacers on top of the stand, between the stand and the lock, to like lift up the lock just a little bit more, like 1/4-inch spacers, like little pieces of? We used to use little pieces of PVC plastic, like little, like, I don't know, 1/2-inch round, or like, I don't know, maybe 1/4-inch round ones. And you just cut a little slice of it. So it's like a half there. So you have you have the lock and you have the thing coming down off of the lock.
I get it.
Slide it up in there and then put it in there. And then I found a lot of times that little bit, like 1/2 an inch or so, like they definitely bend a little easier, the locks, when you do that. But it's a really nice way to adjust and get a little higher. If you're rowing down like this, get them up a little bit higher so you can get better push. When you've got step boxes on the food cats, that's what we did. And I like doing that, try to get up a little bit higher for me. Mm-hmm. But then I need, as you said, I put extra extensions on my oars to make them longer.
Yeah, once they get taller, they get farther out, and you need longer oars. So it starts to be like this cascade of things that have to start happening. Somebody says you have a 14-foot boat, you have to have whatever it is, 9-foot oars. First of all, they're wrong, but whatever. You have your 9-foot oars to your 14-foot boat, but then you want your seat on top, and then you want your wide oar towers. Next thing you know, you're rowing like this and barely moving the boat. So, I mean, boat fitting is I gotta say, I think that like there's all these custom frame builders, like everybody is custom. They should stop making custom. They should stop making custom rafts. Back in the days of Avon Adventures, there's 14-foot boats and 16-foot boats. Everybody should have the same tube dam. Just figure it out. It's not that hard. And then make frames that fit them. People start doing their custom this and that, and they don't understand the cascading consequences of all this custom stuff. And I see it. You're like, I see it all the time on the river. I'm like, if we just had a 16-foot boat and they're all pretty much the same, and 16-foot frames and boxes and coolers, it would, I don't know, I shouldn't be on a high horse about this, but I just see the cascading effects of.
It is true. I mean, there's a lot of variables that are involved, and it gets complicated quickly. So let's go back and look at that. Like what Mark was talking.
Well,
about.
These are actually this isn't a spare oars. We were swapping him between his 9-foot oars and our 9.5-foot oars. So thank you, Mark Rivers, PT, DPT, badass. Appreciate the question. But these are just a different set of oars we were playing with to just try some things out. But I do, I don't mind that actually. I'd go blades forward.
Can we show them again so everyone can see them? So they know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna, if you pull Mark's thing up, Zach, I am not a fan of rigging them on top of the frame like this when you're running steeper drops, because I've seen oars snap and break as the boat bends underneath and the frame keeps things rigid. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Yeah.
I mean, so it works great on cats because the cats don't have the boat flexing, and the oars can be on the inside of the tube a little bit, but sitting straight on top of that tube when that tube flexes. Yeah. It can snap
I think
the oars.
what Mark Rivers, PT, BT, DPT, badass is saying is they're being on the same side. I think he's suggesting that maybe if you have 2 spares, they're on one on each side, but this wasn't even the spare. This is just a different set of oars in this case. But if I had 2 spares, I think having them on different sides would make sense. I like blade forward too.
The other thing I'll say, I used to sometimes run on cats. I'd run my spare oars next to each other like this, but blades, I would go blades forward as well. But the thing is that I saw a lot of people do when they'd rig both of them next to each other is they wouldn't have it easy to remove one without removing the other. So you need to like rig one on and then rig the other one on kind of separately.
I think that's what Mark's saying here is.
Are they strapped together? Exactly.
Yeah. This is simply out of convenience. There's another spare oar, I believe, on the outside. This is simply like, we're swapping oars all day long. Let's just throw them on really quick here.
But Mark said that is a good point though, is having them rigged separately, and then having the straps, the tails on your straps short, so it's really easy to get off, and ideally like have some sort of hitch where you clove hitch the cam strap around your tube or something like that. So if you want to do it, Aaron, you don't lose the cam strap.
We just got in, like, this is the owner of this boat, and I talked about this a lot. Like, what's the right way to tie on? Because I did a gear garage about tying your spare frame onto your spare oar in your frame. I'm like, yeah, just cam strap it on. You're good. That's an easy, quick solution. But he's all about, and this is smart, clove hitch your cam strap to your frame, and then have that's smarter, right? Of course, having your clove hitch your strap to your frame, and then having your spare tied to the frame on the outside, not the inside, like here. My take is like, yeah, that's better because the strap stays there. That just when you're rigging and unrigging your boat all the time, tying all those clove hitches is just one more thing to do. And how often do we really pull our spares off? I mean, you do a lot. I don't very often.
Yeah, I break a lot of oars. So
I have a snap. Thanks. Awesome. Puss bust. Cool.
What does that mean?
Puss bust?
You're busting the puss?
It's not
like squeezing them. You know, like you have the little pus and you like at the pus in your zit. You're like
nothing. Whatever it is, it's not good. Yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, I puss bust, whatever, how you pronounce it. Mr. Bust. Mr. Bust. Yeah, I would be that way too. I mean, slant boards are legit. Like they're legit. Do students get scarves upon? Hey, did you see Aaron? I'm wearing a scarf. I'm not wearing a scarf though. Hold on. Do you see that? The red thing around my neck?
Oh God. Yeah. You're such a bad example to your students. I can't believe that.
It falls down though here. Hold on. Oh no, it's still there.
Oh man. Zach,
it's not a scarf. One day. Hey, Aaron, it's a t-shirt that has water. It's super hot. So it's a t-shirt. I put it on my neck to cool myself off. And it just comes off. It's not a scarf. It's an Iron Man t-shirt.
It's wrapped around your neck.
It's just hanging down though. It's a t-shirt though. It's not that far. It's the Iron Man t-shirt Dougie Fresh gave me. And I was using it to just like keep cool and keep the sun off the back of my neck. But no, students do not get scarves upon completion of their own school. They get a high five and a congratulations, and that's about it.
You guys do high fives? Wow.
I did some hugs even.
Not sure he's talking about beautiful idea. Maybe he's talking about with his reference to his name. Not sure, but
sure. Yeah. Girth hitch strapped to the frame.
Yeah, girth hitch. I like girth hitch as well. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, do I have to explain this to you guys? Mark Rivers, DP, Mark Rivers, PT, DPT, badass. Make myself big here. I'm gonna try to explain this. So if this is the frame right here, the girth hitch puts the two ropes like here and here. I don't know if you can see. It puts the ropes next to each other. The clove hitch puts a rope above the frame and below the frame, so you can get it in tighter. So instead of it being floppy, it's against the frame.
Yeah, but the problem with the clove hitch is that like over time the cam strap slips down to the bottom and it moves more, it rotates more in there. It loosens and tightens. And so I think I agree with Mark. Actually, girth hitch stays in the spot better. And
whatever.
So I understand what you're talking about, Zach, with it, but a lot of times I will use a girth hitch as well for certain scenes.
It's nice to have different tools. If I think about what works best, I like the clove hitch the most because it makes the oar like right up against the frame.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The girth hitch is good too because it stays. Honestly, like just throw the strap around the thing and call it good. What's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to litter a cam strap, which you shouldn't. You should leave no trace principles. But how often does this cam strap come off? Never.
Well, the problem is yes, but then you don't have a cam strap for your. Okay, there's two problems, Zach. The first problem is you lose a cam strap, so when you get your oar back, you don't have a way to tie it down. The second problem is you're trying to get your spare oar, and then you're too worried about losing your cam strap, so you're not just getting your oar on. You want to be as efficient as possible.
I don't worry about losing my cam strap. I don't worry about losing it.
But if you not all of us are rich outfitters, Zach. with like I mean, I shouldn't even say rich outfitter. You spend so much money on cam straps a year, you probably don't worry about one cam strap.
I do.
You order new ones. You order new ones every year. Most of us aren't.
I want my guys to care about. I want my guys to care about the cam straps. I care about cam straps because I spend way too much money on cam straps. But I also, I mean, this is a small detail. I want our boats to be rigged and unrigged fairly quickly, right? So like at the end of the trip, if I have to undo, if you have 2 girth hitches on every frame, that's 10 girth hitches that have to get untied. And
why do you undo them? Just leave them on there.
No, they'll come off. They'll flap in the wind on the trailer. The things I don't like, I'm very like, I want our guys to be able to turn around our trips in a reasonable amount of time. And if you start doing girth hitches everywhere and this and that and clove hitches and all, it takes so long to unrig the gear. And then when you get to put in, you have to tie all the clove hitches back. And I agree. It's part of burnout. I think part of burnout. So having systems that are like effective and they happen pretty quick, I think are smart for commercial boating. Now, if I keep my cat boat inflated in my garage and I put it together once a season, it's inflated all the time. I take it apart at the end of the season. Yeah, I'm going to go girth hitch.
Yeah, but there's a couple of important comments.
Mark.
Yeah,
Ouch.
exactly. Thanks,
Dude.
Mark. Yeah, exactly.
Ouch. Heavy strap for gear, not just oars. Re-rig. So, I mean, Mark, but for day trips.
He does it every day.
But not every day of a multi-day.
Not every day of a multi, but I think the other thing is it's staying locked on there for him too when he and that is an advantage of girth hitches. They'll keep it in the same spot, the same position. So there's some advantages. Like we're going way down a rabbit hole here.
Yeah, I think. I mean, Mark's done a couple trips with us, and like he rode an AB boat. Mark? Did you girth hitch your cam straps to Tony Stark? When you take Tony Stark down the Middle Fork? Because what happened if you did that at takeout, you then had to undo all those girth hitches, right? And like, if we had to do that on all of our D-rings and all of our boats, we would have spent another 10 minutes at takeout.
Zach, if you girth hitch it right, though, it still sits pretty flat because you have the cam strap one on top of the other one.
Oh, loop straps are an interesting solution. Ah, man, Mark, what a badass. But we don't own loop straps. You use your own loop straps, right? I think.
So Zach, when I worked with you back in the day, with this one outfitter where you were managing, I remember you guys just had pieces of webbing for your spare oar, and you just throw the spare oar in between the pieces of webbing. They're permanent loops attached to the frame. Yeah, and it would just kind of hang on the side. Yeah, you don't do that anymore.
We do. Yeah, we do that sometimes. And that was, Dick Linford, who I worked for. He said, "I'd rather." This is interesting. I'll never forget. I really respect and everything Dick ever said, honestly. And so, like, if he said something, I'm like, that makes sense. And so if in that case, there's a loop of stuff and the oar just gets put in there and it's flopping around a little bit. And I've never seen an oar get lost because of that. It's always stayed on. And Dick's point was, I'd rather have you get access to a quick oar when you need it than lose an oar once in a while. Like I'll give up the lost oar once in a while, knowing that you can just quickly pull it out of those straps and put it into the oar lock.
I still like that system. And if you keep an eye on it and manage it a little bit, just check it, once in a while, it stays pretty well. I really like that method.
I've used it. I think we still have it on our frames in Idaho. I am like actually in the process of making 14-inch straps that are like specific to tying our oars onto our frames. Like I'm just gonna have some made. Like I have all of our straps.
14
yeah,
inch.
A foot is a little too short. We use foot like 14 inches, just a little bit longer. It's just the right length to like have a little bit of a tail. Hey, it's the level of detail I put into our gear. But
and then someone's gonna start realizing the 14 inches work great for their waist belt, for their holding their jeans up. And then you're gonna lose out.
Oh, I'm making. So I mean, I'm fanatical about our cam straps. I'm making them all this like maroon reddish color, so they're very unique. Like you'll know that they're mine, right? Like you'll see those are Zach's 14-inch straps, and that way they're only used for tying oars onto the sides of the boats. Everything's super color coded.
You realize, Zach, when you show up, they're going to be using them for what you don't intend them to be used for. They're going to be using them to like hold the pooper lid down or something like that.
They will, but it happens. I have an intention, but I think, we have all of our cam straps made. Like I have a whole bunch of cam buckles I ordered over there. I have the material I buy myself, and I have them sewn here in Hood River. And then when the straps break, I save the buckles and have them resewn.
Okay.
Like
I was going to ask, do you reuse the buckles? Yeah.
I have a stack of buckles right over there on my desk. So I go through every year and like cut the ragged ones down, bring them back to Hood River, and I resew just here in town. I have them all resewn. So I keep good close track of it all. Rigging is part of rafting camp. It's like rancher fixing fences. Yeah. There's a lot of ways to do it.
But having said that, Blue Puma, if you're a rancher, you want to have the most efficient way possible to fix those fences, because you don't want to spend all your time fixing fences, because you got to spend a lot of time fixing fences. So you want to be efficient. You want to get that job done and feel good and do it right, but get it done quickly. And
do it in a way where you're not like you're respectful of your fence. Like if you're wasting a lot of fence, it's expensive. It adds up.
Yeah, exactly.
So I will lose an occasional strap. Like I honestly, I honestly don't think a guy just pulled a spare oar off a frame. So a guy's worked for us to spare oar off a frame mid rapid in a couple years. I'm pretty sure it hasn't happened. It happened if they break an oar or something happens, they just like slowly pull over and deal with it. Right? It's not like this rush thing. That happens. Like that's something that happens on the Tuolumne or the Illinois or like high water Middle Fork or whatever, where you like have to get it, like you break an oar above velvet and you have to get it right back in really quick. So we're not like pulling off oars in like quick emergency situations. So I'm fine if they just strap it on really quick.
Cool.
So we'll finish up. This is Blossom. And this is where we usually take them down to here, and this is the student rowing this boat. He would have rowed down, and he would have rowed down. But he was like, Zach, I want to see how you would run this rapid. He's like, I just like you run the rest of Blossom. I want to see what you would do, and I just caught every eddy I could. It was really fun.
Yeah, there's so many good eddies on this. That is an outstanding place.
Yeah,
almost like you want a little conveyor belt to take you back to just below the big move, and then you can do it again.
You could almost attain. Like it's crazy how many eddies there were. And I threw this video in here because I want to make the point of like playing around in like class 3 rapids is a great way to get better at making class 4 moves. Like I was doing my best to make some really hard moves in here, and there's a lot of options. There's a lot of places to play around, a lot of eddies to catch. Where do you think I'm going to go, Aaron?
So I got a car alarm going on in the background here. I've been trying to cut it out. I'm still muting, like it's still going. Whoa, getting a little sporty there. I think that's a fun thing too. Like Zach, like you said, like when you get more comfortable, you can take some fun lines, and particularly on runs you know really well, and challenge yourself and try to catch different eddies. And then once you're catching all those eddies on that run, yeah, then you're ready to like maybe ramp it up a little bit. So yeah, nice. And then you got your scarf. You got your scarf hanging off the back now a little more there.
That's my Iron Man t-shirt, not scarf. I mean, the more I think about it, it's probably a bad idea to wear a scarf on the river.
You think? Really?
I don't think it's that bad.
Maybe you could get a rope scarf and put that around your neck instead.
I don't think it's that bad of an idea, but I think it sets a bad example. So I probably should stop wearing my scarf, but I needed to cool off. It was hot. So this is just a t-shirt's acceptable, right?
Still nervous. Kind of the same ideas. I think, Zach, one of the problems about being a safety squirrel and like promoting safety squirrelism, you really put yourself in a place to get knocked off. You know,
wait, am I a safety squirrel?
You are. You're.
No, I'm not.
So, oh.
Did you just put yourself on mute and give me a look?
Well, the car alarm's still going off here. I don't know what's going on. Maybe somebody's car is getting stolen, but hopefully they'll get rid of the car soon here. So
I mean, I think I'd like to point out the big picture safety stuff, right? Like what's the low hanging fruit? What's the stuff we should be doing, right? Like we shouldn't be drinking. Is my mic working?
Yeah, it's working. It's got a little weird there for a second. It's getting a little, but it's fine.
But I think like in terms of safety, like it's super easy to point out the super obvious stuff, right? Like don't boat alone.
Okay. Yeah, your mic's getting weird. Maybe it's time to end the show before we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's starting to get weird. Maybe it's time to end the show, Zach. Do you have anything else?
It's a good time. No, dude, shut it down.
Hey guys, yeah, I want to thank you guys all for tuning in again to our. I'm gonna say it's awesome. I know it's not up to Zach's standards, but I think you guys do a great job.
Aaron, you drank water when the show started, and I'm just gonna say, now have a car alarm going off in the background.
But I'm gonna say this, Zach. I think our viewers make the show awesome, and I think like they bring it up to that level. So. Yeah, thanks, George. And so, anyways, appreciate all your comments. Russell, thanks for suggesting that video to watch today. Appreciate that as well. If you hadn't done so, please hit that like button, subscribe, and of course, hit the bell so you turn on notices. So anytime Zach puts anything on YouTube, you'll be notified right away, so you won't miss out. Zach, are you gonna be around next week for another show?
Yeah, I'll be here Friday.
Oh, great. So we'll be here again next Friday. What time does our show start?
2:00. Nowadays? That's why we're not awesome yet. You don't even know what time it is. We've done it. Are you kidding me?
Well, it's 12:45 here in Hawaii, so it's a different time. We start at 11 a.m. Hawaii. We'll be back next week, 11 a.m. Hawaii time. So you guys can figure that out. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for all your comments, Zach. Thanks for putting all the footage together. It looks great again. If you guys do have footage or anything like that, you can email that to me or ideas to me at aaron@riversanoceans.com. And I think that's about it, Zach, unless you got anything else.
One thing, next week, our friend Mark Rivers, come a PT, come a DPT, come a badass. He is friends with one of my guides, Daniel Stillman, and I have this footage on a GoPro of them boating back east. So hopefully we can watch some of the footage of them. I think it's the Big Laurel is what he said, but we have some cool footage from boating back east, little boats.
Great.
So
sounds good.
That ready next week.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Can you make it super awkward while I figure out how to do the truck? Oops.